And now I've got Kerry Kawai on the line. Are you there, Kerry?
I am indeed.
And you're going to tell us about the production of, she is, Things of Darkness.
Yes, I am.
So you're the director, aren't you, Kerry?
I am, yeah.
So give us a little bit of a rundown about the production first, without giving too much away.
Okay, well, it's a fable of our time about the shadows that are around and within us, even if we bear some responsibility for them ourselves. It's a dark tale about a soldier and a fairy, each lost in their own world, and their journey into a place of strange and unsettling encounters that leads ultimately to sadness, but also the beginning of a return to the light. So it's like a modern-day fairy tale, basically, about a soldier that has PTSD, and although it is about that, it's also about the sort of trouble that lies within us all, this thing of darkness that could be within us all in this unsettling world that we live in, now more so than ever, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, aren't you? So that's quite a big topic to cover, isn't it, really? Quite a big subject.
It is, yeah.
Because, I
it's told as well. Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, I don't know what the statistics are like, but I know they're very high, aren't they? Mostly, when we think of soldiers, we think of old soldiers. We don't think about the young soldiers, do we, that were struggling with these awful conditions.
Well, also, it's the war that the soldier has been in is not stated, so it could be from, the First World War or the Second World War. It's just about the fact that he returns and he finds it so difficult to reconnect with the world, given everything that he's been through and all these shadows that are inside his mind that he's battling with. I mean, in the opening scene, his mother's visiting him in this place where he's recuperating, and he's got a bandage wrapped around his eyes and he refuses to speak, and he's in a wheelchair because he's just completely shut himself away from the world. And then this fairy sort of drops into his world and puts him back together almost. So it's quite magical, and she uses lots of physical theatre, and the language is quite heightened. And Mark, the writer, took lots of influences from things like The Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, and surrealist artists such as notably Francisco Goya, who created a picture called The Sleep of Reason Produces Monsters. And it's about when we go to sleep and we have all these things going on inside our mind, the demons that come out in our dreams. And it is almost like the soldier is travelling through his own dream throughout the piece.
Right. So
does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. I was really into it. So who's in it? Who's performing in this? How many? What's the cast?
It's a very small cast. So we've got Danny Solomon, who's playing Jimmy, and we've got Sophie Coward, who is playing the fairy. We have Lewis Marsh, who's playing Chilston, and Elizabeth Poole playing the mother. Then we have Liam Phoenix playing the boy. So it's a very small cast of 5, and it centres, as I said, mostly around Jimmy and Fairy, but these other characters sort of drop in and out like they do in dreams. And Elizabeth Poole, who plays the mother, she also plays the apothecary and the tinker and the beggar woman, and she is those people. She's no longer the mother, but Jimmy keeps saying to her, "Ma'am, is that you?" And it's that idea of when you dream, you might dream about your dad, but in your dream is your boss. It's that sort of strange world in dreams where people fuse into other people, and it's all very confusing and unsettling. And that's what Jimmy finds constantly, that he's constantly confused and unsettled, and everyone talks in riddles. He says that quite a lot as well throughout the piece. So what we're hoping is that people come out of it and they go, "Wow, so what do you think that bit was, and what was going on there, and was this person, did that person represent this?" And it's a piece of theatre that we hope evokes discussion, and one of those shows that you go to and you want to go again because you're not quite sure of little bits that happened in it, and it makes you wonder.
And that you might see something different each time you go, really, I guess. In this kind of...
Absolutely, and even us, and even Mark himself, the writer, when we're in the rehearsal process, will go, "Oh, hang on, does this mean this?" And he'll say, "Oh, actually, I didn't even know, but yeah, you're right. And you're picking bits out." And we've been rehearsing this for a long time, but we're still picking out these little bits from it all the time. I'm sure he won't mind me saying this. He's quite a humble man, but it's beautifully written. It really is, and you can see all these influences that he's taken, and it's really poetic and flows beautifully, the language, which allows you then to be able to create this wonderful physicality to go along with it.
Sounds like a really interesting piece, actually, with a lot of diversity within that.
Definitely, it really is. I mean, I know obviously I'm biased, but I think what drew me to it when I read it was it's something that I would want to go and see because it is so interesting and there's so many questions and it reminds me of sort of like Waiting for Godot and Beckett and that sort of absurdist, constantly on this journey looking for something but never quite being able to reach it.
Yeah. Well, let's tell people where it's on and when it's on.
It is on at Hope Mill Theatre in Ancoats, which is a wonderful new space. There's lots of going on there during the GM Fringe. It's really gaining momentum as a new Fringe theatre space in Manchester. That's in Ancoats. It's on the 13th and 14th of July from 7:30, and the tickets are £10 for adults and £8 for concessions, which costs you that to go to the cinema, doesn't it?
Oh, gosh, it does. Yeah, it really does. It's much better to spend that money and come to the Fringe, absolutely. There's something really special, I think, about coming to Fringe Theatre. And I think that's a bargain, actually, when you consider what you'd pay elsewhere.
Absolutely, the mainstream theatre.
Yeah.
And this is hopefully for us the beginning of something much bigger. We'd like to tour it around the Northwest. And, for us as a theatre company out of Kilter Theatre, we're also looking to put on other shows and get young talent in and around the Northwest, give them their platform because there's so many young people that are itching to work and just don't know quite how to burst into it. So that's kind of what we're looking to do as well.
Yeah. You have to keep in touch with me and let me know, anything else you're doing and anywhere else you're going with this, and come in and let us know how it's gone. Are there any websites and pages you want people to look at and like? And
Yes, we have got Out of Kilter Theatre. If you Google Out of Kilter Theatre Manchester, then that comes up and that tells you about us and about the production. We've also got Out of Kilter Manchester, which is our Twitter page where we post all updates on the rehearsal process. There's a YouTube link to the rehearsals as well, which is really, really good. It's a little trailer and it gives you a bit of a snippet of what to expect when you come and see it.
That's great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, all the very best with that. And
thank you.
And so do keep in touch and let us know how you go on. Thanks for telling us about the production tonight. Take care now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.